So, a lot of people speak about love languages. I really think that they should add another love language to that list of love languages. I also know which one they should be taking out because. So, if y'all know me, especially the people who do follow me on Instagram for a very long time now, I am someone who's constantly just posting songs. And I've even been asked, like, do you post anything else? And I'm just like, I don't know. Like, there's just nothing else that I know or that I would like to post apart from music. And I really feel like music is something that has really been close to me. And I know a lot of people out there do love music, but then also there's a part of me that just I love exploring new music as well. It's one thing that of course, you get to know music on TikTok and that kind of sticks, but also otherwise I love people who introduce me to new music. My whole life I have been someone who's really connected to music. I'm not a singer. I like to sing. I I like to sing. Am I a good singer? No, I'm not. I'm pretty tone deaf, dude. It's really embarrassing. But I really do like to sing. I have been someone who's always gotten up in the morning, played a lot of music. My mom used to play music first thing in the morning as well. She used to work. She still works at the radio station Kuwait, and because of that, she was also someone who was into listening to music a lot. So she would wake up in the morning, have the radio on, and that's something that just became really habit for me. Even till date, I'm trying to reduce it because I feel like sometimes I do need a lot of silence or some silence, and I don't think it's me. It doesn't make me unique or something. A lot of people just relate to music so much, right? Like, everyone is so different about their music choices and why they relate to music and how they relate to music and whatnot. Now, I'll tell you why I think it should be a love language, right? I genuinely think there has been so many times that I've connected with someone over songs, over lyrics. I think it was such a way for us to form a bond as well. Like, for example, when we were younger, it's one thing that as friends you discuss music with your friend and you're listening to the same music and you're discussing lyrics and so on. But I don't think this happens now. I don't know what the teenagers are up to. But for me, for my age or people in their 20s, it doesn't happen as much. But I'm pretty sure everyone out there can definitely say that when they were younger and they had their first or second relationship, or at least their first relationship, there was a song that you and this person just had. And you knew that this was your song. So as soon as the song comes on, you're blushing. And you're just like, this is our song, And he's just like, this is our song. And I'm just like, stop. So a lot of that shit has happened. I can't be the only one. I'm sure everyone has had this. But then after that first relationship, you're like, listen, I love music too much to have to ban this song from my entire life. Okay. So that has definitely been something that has been really crucial for me. Since then, I don't think I've ever like had a song for a relationship. And even if I've been told, I'll be like, please, like, please, just I like this song too much. You and I don't seem to have long-term potential, so let's just drop this act. But music is something that has really kept me connected to people. I really think it's a way, like, no matter what language the song is in, if it sounds good, you like the song. I mean, we all listen to Gasolina and, like, we're up shaking our asses anyways. I mean, that's a dance song. But then there's so many other songs that are actually really beautiful, even in a different language. Let's say regional Indian songs. I don't know what they mean, but I could really be like, okay, say ten 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 ten. I listen to regional songs all the time. It's so funny because I genuinely don't know what they mean, but then they just connect to you. You're just able to. They just sound good and they just make you move or they make you feel something. It's just music. Just as a whole concept is amazing. So I am going to be speaking about an artist today who has just been so he how do I put this in words? So throughout our life we relate to music for so many of our emotions, right? We have music for happiness and we have music for joy and sadness and anger and grief. We have all of these emotions that you understand as normal emotions, and we've grown up with these emotions as being your standard emotions that you feel as a human being, right? However, this one artist that I'm going to speak about has made an album for universal emotions that are just not spoken about. Yes, by the baseline, you can say it's grief or it's, okay, that's the most that I can think of, or it's happiness or whatever. But this artist has literally taken down emotions that you feel during transitional moments in your life. And I think that's so hard to do, right? Because you have your singers, for example, Adele, love songs, breakup, Linkin Park, teenage anger, like absolute teenage anger. Like it's also so much of like not understanding your emotions at the same time, but you just know you're numb. And in the end it just doesn't really matter. So that's what Linkin Park is. So these are your normal songs. Or then you have Gasolina, which is just, to dance and shake your ass or whatever. So these are the type of songs that we have been used to. Now, when I was transitioning into my 30s, one of my friends had recommended that I listen to this album, to this album called Indigo. So this album was made in, I think, 2022 by an artist called Kim Namjoon. He is the leader of BTS, which is a Korean boy group, and they have 7 artists in them. And bruh, a lot of people definitely look down upon K-pop, and they're very judgy about someone liking K-pop and so on. However, this K-pop group is just so different. It's one thing that the music, they have so many different genres, right? As a group and then individually as well. And each of them as an artist just delivers music at such a level. It's insane. It's insane. Kim Namjoon is a leader. He's also a 1994 born. He used to do underground rap as a 13-14-year-old. His IQ is 148, which is one of the higher IQs in the world. And he's someone who's very introspective and who's very feminist and who's very open-minded about a lot of things and says things as they are. But as someone who's also started this journey at a very young age, I think he was 16 or 17 when he got into the group. They debuted their first album and so on. It's been, I think, 11 or 12 years since they have started off as a group. A couple of years ago, they did start off their individual journeys. And he has such a magnificent mind. There is just, I when you think that, okay, music, love, music, anger, whatever, right? But you're not gonna think about writing songs at such a deep level where you think about these emotions, you keep them to yourself, you don't speak about it to anyone else because you're going through so much in your 20s. But this man has literally taken all of his anxieties, all of his positive thoughts about these anxieties, all of his all of his mindsets and his mind change shifts. He's put it all together and he's made he's made music out of poetry. The way he has done this is just magnificent, and I have so much respect for the guy. And that's exactly what I'm going to speak about today. I actually made notes. So much notes. So yeah, he's someone who captures emotions at a very universal emotions that no one really speaks about, and you can't even comprehend on how exactly you're going to put that into music, right? So I'm going to speak about the album Indigo, how it helped me process everything that was happening in my life. I still do listen to this album religiously, but I used to listen to this album religiously when I first found out about it. And most of the songs are in Korean, but I have literally looked up the English lyrics and I'm like, what does this mean? Why does this song sound so good? What is he trying to say? He even made this YouTube video where he has like 10 objects on 10 pedestals and he's explaining each song like it's a museum. He's someone who's also very in tune with art and culture and literature. So that was his whole concept, and he explains each song. And so he calls this album the archive of his 20s. Basically, everything that he's gone through in his 20s, and he's just put that into poetry and music form, and he's just like given it to the world, his personal diary to the world. And I feel like for someone who heard that song, who was going through like a phase of like, oh my god, what is happening in my life? What are these emotions? I don't know who to speak to. Should I speak to anyone? Am I crazy? Am I overthinking? It's all in my head. This album literally hit a note. I I cannot explain to you how much I love this album. And I do hope that this podcast translate exactly how much I love this album. I think by this time, with the amount of talk that I'm giving, I think you get it. I think you get it. I think I'm going to move on to the next segment now. So, this is what I wrote. As much as music has held my hand through life, Indigo, the album, has actually held my heart. And I have so much love and regard for him and the work that he's actually put in this album, because I really feel like he, as an artist, is someone who wants to let the world know that you're not alone. You're not alone in what you're feeling. You're not alone in being ambitious. You're not alone in trying to reach for something that may feel out of reach. He wants to remind you that whatever you're feeling is okay. It's normal. It's a part of life. And the thing is, in Korea, he's at such a level. He's known as the president of Korea. People are like Namjoon for president. So they have a lot of regard for him as an artist, as a leader, as someone who's really culturally diversified and brought Korea to like a different level. For him to put such a vulnerable side of him out there is really intense. And I think it shows how much courage he has as an artist and as someone who is on a platform where there's a lot of risk involved in being seen this way. So, the first song is, he has done a lot of collaborations, and I think for an album to have, I think he's had around 8 collaborations out of 10, which I think is pretty intense. And these are not artists that you know, like they're not American artists. I mean, I think one or two are, but they're also artists that he has literally searched and he's like, this is the vision I have, and this is the artist that I'm going for. So the number one song is Yoon. It means cloud or person, and it has Erykah Badu in it. I never heard of Erykah Badu before, and I've not heard her song still yet. But the music. Okay, I'm not gonna speak about the music because I don't know too much about music and how it's done, and harmonies, and I don't understand any of that. But this song is based around Plato's theory. So Plato believes that your soul is a separate entity from your human form. So physically we are one being, but our soul is completely different. And as humans, we tend to feed our physical form, but we do not tend to feed our soul, which is why as humans we feel like we are chasing external validation, or we are doing things because we think society or this is what we need to do to survive. And that's the sort of way we are living, which is quite crippling for our soul. But the more we feed our soul, the more happy our soul and our physical form is. I mean, that's what I'm trying to get from Plato's, theory. And based off of the song, he's speaking, there's this line that says, be a human before you do your art. So he's talking about, when he says be a human before you do your art, he's basically saying feed your soul before you put anything else out into this world. And of course there's a lot of nuance to that, because again, we live in a society where we need to survive. We have to play we have to pay our rent, we have to pay bills, and we have to get a job and everything. So it's not really the most sensible thing to do, is like to chase your passion when you're not in a position to. Of course, there are a lot of people who, it takes a lot of courage to do something like that as well, and there are a lot of people who do it, and kudos to them. But it's not always the easiest route to take. But this whole song, he speaks about how he is trying to be like a true human. And when he says a true human, he's like, I don't want to just be a human just to show people that I'm a good human, but he's also trying to be a better person within the four walls that he's living in, to himself, to the people that he's actually the closest to. And he just doesn't want to put performance for the world. And whatever he's doing, he's trying to do, like, considering that he's such a big name in South Korea and also around the world, he's trying to make sure that the art that he's putting out there is not for the external validation, or it's not for society to show acceptance towards him and his human brain or how he functions as a human, but also just to himself. Someone who did start rapping at a very young age, 13, 14, underground rapping. Music generally itself is how you feel, how you feel as a person and what you're trying to put out there, right? But he doesn't want to do it for just the people to get that sort of status and recognition. He's fine without that. But the reason that he does it is because he wants to be true to his art. He wants to be true to himself. And he's encouraging people to do the same. Like, do things for yourself and not because you're trying to chase some sort of validation. In the song, he also speaks about going back to when he was 9 years old, because that's when you actually don't care about you don't know what external validation is. You're not looking for validation with the things that you do or the things that you say. You're just saying it because you know that's authentic to you. You're in your most realist form. Those, I think your formative years do come when you're like maybe 11, 12, when you're entering into teenage. But before that, you're completely fine being yourself and you're doing things that you love just generally. So he's talking about going back to that time and just bringing that inner child from you out. By the end of the verse, he's also speaking about how he's trying to throw his greed away. So there's also this push and pull. I think as humans, when you have been brought up in a society where in a way you are kind of pressured to do well so that you can talk about it, you can, oh, get this much percentage in your boards, because it's something proud to say out. And if you don't, it's, you kind of feel like you have probably not done well when you go through such things in life. And I think everyone goes through this, right, where you have been put into a lot of pressure just so that you can fit into society, or you're accepted in a certain way in society. When in your formative years you are brought up in this way, it also, it's basically in your blood, it's basically in your nerves, it's basically in your veins, where you function that way just subconsciously as an adult as well. And that's not something you can change overnight. So even as an artist, and even though he's saying all these things, he's like, I'm still trying to get over my greed. So when he says greed, it means like the need for recognition or the status that he wants. He's like, I'm still trying to battle that. I'm still trying not to do it for those reasons. But naturally, as human as he is, he there is a tendency to also do it for that. But he's always trying to push away. So he's trying to show that there is normalcy in having those sort of expectations for yourself. There's normalcy also in wanting external validation. So he's like, but you can still work through that, and always remember to feed your soul first before anything else. And this song is the first song on the album. I think it kind of sets the tone of what he's trying to say, what he's trying to battle by himself. And this is something that I'm pretty sure like everyone in their 20s battles through as well, right? Because it's such an age where you're trying to do things because you have to do them because you have to fit into society and you have to do these things for your survival. But then at the same time, it's also an age where you're like, but should I also run after my passion? Should I also be doing this at the side, or should I just give this corporate job up and continue doing so and so and so and pursue that? So there's always this push and pull, and emotionally it can get really exhausting. And I think that sets a really nice tone for the album itself, for anyone who listens. Again, the whole song is in Korean, so I did look up lyrics and I was like, what does this man mean? I know he means something. 148 IQ? EQ? IQ. Yeah, 148 IQ. There's no way he's just written some rap for no reason at all. The second one is Still Life, featuring Anderson Park, who is also another Korean artist. So this song, Still Life, is very different from the first song. It's very upbeat. He's talking about art basically. Let's say he's put out his art and he's left it open to interpretation, right? Like everyone has their own perception about it, good, bad, whatever perception people have. And even though he's doing all of this for himself, his life is at display as an artist. His life being at display puts a lot of thoughts on his head on how he's being perceived, how people may look at his past or future. And this may not necessarily just be that he's an artist. This could also be in my life. Like, for example, there are times where I think, oh my God, 10 years ago I did this and questionable behavior. What must people be thinking now? Nobody's thinking about what I did 10 years ago except me. So these things are just part and parcel of everything that you go in life with, right? But then he talks about, he's like, but you know what? I'm still alive. And I'm still alive and I just got to keep moving. Like, yes, everything is out there, and you have put your creativity out there, you have put yourself out there, and you have taken that risk. And there are going to be people who are talking about it. There are going to be people who are opinionated. There are going to be haters saying shit on your face, behind your back. There are going to be people criticizing you, and there are going to be people who say good things about you, which I mean, a lot of people still find that really hard to like give more importance to than the negative, right? It's like you can have 10 negative, 10 things in front of you, out of which 9 things are positive and 1 thing is negative, and your mind's still going to be on the negative thing. So he just talks about how basically there's so much risk, and even he continuously feels that risk while he's putting himself out there. But at the same time, he's like, at the same, like, I just still gotta keep moving. Like, people are gonna keep talking, and people are gonna keep having an opinion, and there's always gonna be this pressure on him. But he's like, but you know what, like, I'm still live. And I think that's so important for all of us, right? Because even for me right now, putting out the podcast and just even starting vlogs last year, just making a short form video, just the way it gets to me, it has really eaten me up alive. I remember even before putting out this podcast, for the whole week I was so anxious. I was like, oh my god, I have no idea what I have like taken a video of in the past few months, because I was doing this over a couple of months. It was just such a daunting experience, because I was like, I'm gonna have my life on display, and it doesn't mean that I'm gonna like probably put out my personal information or anything, but it's just my thoughts and opinions. And at the end of the day, I really had to like sit down with myself and think, you know what, like, it does not matter. It has not mattered before, because life teaches you that. It really does teach you that what you do in your life barely matters apart from in that instant. And in a couple of days or months, people forget anyway. So you just got to keep moving for you. So it's one of the best upbeat song. Now the third song is called All Day, and it's featuring another Korean artist called Tableau. He did do another song with the same artist. It is called Stop the Rain, and that is so much more depressing. When I heard it, I was just like, is our man okay? Does he need therapy or therapists at this point? Because what the hell? So this song speaks about how he's trying to figure himself out, right? And within that process of trying to figure yourself out and trying to be creative and trying to create this platform for yourself, as well as the group that you're with, that there will always be people who put you down. They will put you down. They will say the wildest things about you. They'll call you a wannabe on your face, on your back. I mean, at your back, whatever, behind your back. Wow, English left the building. But at the end of the day, he's just like, I'm gonna continue doing this. Like, he's just telling you, don't give a shit what people say. You're gonna be, again, I think it does have a very similar context, at least the first few songs. But it's the same context of, people are gonna criticize you a lot. No matter what happens, I'm still gonna sit and do this all day. So I think from the first song of like trying to find your inner child and make sure that you're catering to your soul, to then being like, hey, you know what, you're still alive, you can do what you want to do, people are going to judge anyways. And then this third song, All Day, is he kind of gives a lot of shit to the haters, and he's just like, fuck them. He's just telling them to like, I mean, he's telling you to like, don't give a shit about these guys, they're always going to say something, they are losers. Okay, these are my words, not his. He's pretty nice about these things. I think, at least on music. But I think if he and me were to gossip, we would have a lot to say about the general public. So he's gonna be digging up all of his passions, no matter what people say. He's just telling you to like, you know what, screw society. They are gonna try to mold you to what's appropriate to them. They are gonna try to mold you to capitalism and to make sure that you're working this dead as job, and you're not gonna find space for yourself. But you need to create that space. You need to say, you know what, society, get off my back. And you need to just keep digging for your passions and continuously do that, and continuously make sure that you're doing the things you love, no matter what, regardless of what anyone says, what anyone does, what how it looks like. No matter what you're getting back for, do it for you, and do it all day. That's what he's saying, like, do it all day, because that's what he does. He's like, this is what I do all day anyways. I think about my thoughts, I think about how can I can creatively put it out. And I feel like his songs are like, is like journaling. Like he said, it's an archive to his 20s. This is the last song that I'm going to speak about. They are like 10 songs, so I don't want to make a whole 1 hour 30 minutes sort of video. And also I didn't have time to like do the 5 other songs, so I'm just doing for now. This song is the number 4 song is called Forgetful, and he has another Korean singer in this whose name is Kim Sewol. And in the name of the song, it's forgetful, but he removes the e out of it, like he just puts a dash under it. And the song is so sweet. it could put you to sleep. Okay, it's his voice and then her voice, which is even more sweeter. And the whole song is just on guitar. It's just an acoustic song, so it's just them playing the guitar, and they're just singing, and it's so raw, it's so authentic, it's so beautiful. It's it's an adult's lullaby. It's an literally an adult's lullaby. Like I could listen to the song and just fall asleep on repeat. It's not even creepy. Like it's so sweet, it's not even creepy. This song I think is where there's a change in direction in his thought process or what emotion he's actually speaking about. In this song he does mention that he's 24. I mean, sorry, 26. And he's apologizing to his friend saying that I'm sorry, I have so many thoughts and I don't have enough memory. And then she goes on to saying, do you remember the smell of grass when you were young? It will be quite new. Yes, just forget about it. Everyone here is a fool. So, in this whole song, he's talking about, especially the fact that he mentioned that he's 26, right? Because I feel when everyone crosses the 25 threshold, it starts hitting you. You're just like, oh my god, 4 more years, and I'm gonna be 30. And I think as 20-year-olds, as people who are growing within that age range, if you have not figured out, or if you don't want to talk about it, it's not something you want to talk about. You just want to go through life as is, and you're just looking at what's right in front of you and you're trying to just distract yourself with those things. Yeah, it's a good time and everything, but you're not really paying attention to your emotions because no one really speaks about these emotions that you go through. For me, I don't think thought about it as much, or maybe I was just like, I thought I was set for life, dude. I was in a relationship, it was going well, I had a good job, and I was like, okay, good scene. So, a lot of this did come later on, 2029, when I decided to move country. But again, I think even regardless of moving countries or not, these are common feelings that you will have. And there's a point of time where you will sit and you're gonna think, damn, like all these memories that I've had, like where are they gone? Because now you're just filled in with thoughts and you're just like, you feel like life is catching up. In that age range, you do tend to feel like life is getting away from you and you start questioning, like, am I doing enough? Okay, I'm doing this, what is next? And especially if you had a certain direction and it's just pivoted by a lot, then you really start questioning, like, okay, what's happening, so this song is definitely talking about having a lot of thoughts and forgetting the memories that you had, because even revisiting these memories, they don't feel the same anymore. They don't feel the same. They don't, yeah, these are good memories, but if you had to go back to that same moment in that present time, it will not feel the same because your thoughts have started overtaking what you feel. Even the line where she says, do you remember the smell of grass when you were young? Even though you go to that same place, it's going to feel new because this is like a very transitional period of your life. You have started thinking about what is life going to look like in the next few years. Is that I'm pretty sure this is a common experience. And he's like, but yeah, just forget about it because everyone forgets about it. So you're not alone, basically. He's like, everyone here is a fool and no one's talking about it. And this is something that does happen in life, and it's okay. Those are the lyrical part of it. So, this is an age of like, I feel like it's an age of silent emotional suffering because you're doing well. I think by 26, more or less everyone has a job. Everyone's doing well in their jobs, but there's still some sort of figuring out that you're trying to do. But emotionally, you're trying to show that you have it all together. And you sort of emotionally, I think there's a lot of emotional suffering that people do by not speaking about this to your friends, because you don't really know if you are necessarily, if your friend is feeling the same thing, or whether they'll be able to understand these emotions. So there's a lot of quietness. At least I know I did feel a lot of quietness during that age. There were a lot of things that did happen around that time as well. So there was a lot of questioning of, where am I? What am I doing? Where is my life headed? And it's not something that I was comfortable speaking about to people, because it's so heavy. The transition feels so heavy, and you're trying to understand it yourself. So how do you exactly explain that to other people who are also, like he said, everyone here is a fool. Everyone here is trying to play a role to show that they have it all together. And maybe some people did, but then there are some people who didn't. and you just didn't discuss it because you just want to show that you're fine. So he's like, yeah, you can be delusional. All of us are in denial of our feelings and emotions and what we are going through. You don't need to be worried about it because you're not the only one who is going through this. And I think this is exactly the song where there's a transition happening in place in the album itself. So the next song is called Closer, but I will not be speaking about it in this episode. I do hope that you did enjoy this episode. It is a short one, for sure. But I really hope that you end up listening to this album, especially if you're someone who's in the 20s. And if you're someone who's into lyrics, look up the lyrics. Look up the lyrics. This guy is a brilliant rapper. He is an absolute poet. And you're not gonna have someone, you just, the thought of like speaking about universal emotions is just insane. Like, how do you put that in songs? The emotions that he's talking about just run so deep. I feel like a lot of people usually battle these emotions alone. They don't speak about it to people freely, and it really says a lot about the type of person he is, who's willing to like have his emotions out on his sleeves, who wears his emotions on his sleeves, and he's put it into music. So listen to it, read the lyrics, look up Kim Namjoon. The man's brilliant. All of his rap I've translated, so me and my friends have just deep dived into his rap so much. It's insane. So this is my first part of this series. I am going to do a second part with the rest of the 6 songs where I'll be breaking those down as well. I do hope you did enjoy this. And if you do know Kim Namjoon, or if you do know any other artist who you think are just amazing and who are not known well enough, who are not given enough credit just because they are not English artists, please leave that in the comments. Let me know your amazing artist that you love, because I love listening to new music and we can discuss that. I think it's one of the best ways to get to know people. I'm also someone, if someone dedicates a song to me or like tells me to listen to a song, I will analyze that song so much. I'll be like, so, why do you like this song? Are you okay? Is everything fine? Hmm. I I truly believe that people like the music that they like, especially when it comes to lyrics, is because they feel those words so deeply. I really don't think people understand how poetic, poetic, or just how, like, I mean, I get like trance, EDM, there's a lot of that's just music, right? But when it comes to lyrics, I'm telling you, it's such a good analysis of a person, of what they feel, what they think. It's it speaks volumes of. I feel like you can. There's a tell to the person. Anyways, before I go on rambling, this is my 12th episode on Slightly Dramatic. I really do hope you enjoy it. Let me know other things that you'd like for me to talk about. Let me know what you thought about this episode. Leave a like, subscribe, comment on this channel, and I will see you next time. Thank you. Bye.